Hi, this game took place in Moscow 28th of February 2019, just a few days ago. So here we go, and this is Grandmaster Prag, and I'll write his name up, of course. So this is Grandmaster Prag is white in 5-minute chess blitz, 3 minute and 2 seconds blitz, even though they make it look like a 30-minute game. And a new favourite of mine now, even though Grandmaster Prag is Grandmaster Nihal Sarin. So fantastic player, very assertive and feisty with his moves. He plays like he's punching. He plays like with great enthusiasm and dum, 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 like that when he's moving his pieces. So it's quite impressive. He's only 13 or thereabouts. So here we go. White is Grandmaster Prag, and this is a long game, so I don't know how they do it all in the 3 minutes and 2 seconds, but I've read a little bit about it, how they do. But anyway, here we go. So we've got just knight f3, c5, b3, which is not a move to consider as weak, even though it looks weak. It doesn't look like white's do much by playing b3, but it's actually quite good. If Nimzowitsch and Larsen think it's a good move, then it must be okay. So white's going to play more than likely this move here and not this move here, unless they develop their bishop to g2 fianchetto. So we're going to look at black's game coming up here. So black's not going to allow white to play d4, of course, because white's just going to lose a pawn out of hand. So but white has to play very assertively, and it didn't look like it didn't look to me like white was doing very well here. e3 and f5. This is when I started to really like him, is when Nihal plays f5, and he played it with such assertion. And knight c3 and knight f6. So he just plays kind of really pragmatically, may I say, or methodically, which is very important to play methodically as well. So here comes d4. Oh no, it's destroying our things. What will we do now? Take or something else? He plays what move? e4. Okay, now you're white. What move would you play here for white? What move do you think the young super king of chess in America, who just while he was wanting to get his Grandmaster title finalized, he beat Grandmaster or Super Grandmaster Wesley So back then. So that's so sorry. So what does white do here? d5. Okay, this looks like, you know, a bit crazy, doesn't it? Look like white can just take this pawn here. I mean, this can't just take the knight, take the pawn, and win something. No, let's look into this. Okay, so say for instance black plays this. Okay, new variation. I hope you let us play it. We've got the computer on, so I better turn it off. And then we go here. This is no good, you see. Thinking we're winning a pawn. Black would be best here to just take this here, but I can't do it because otherwise it will save it. So if here, then we have this move, which is quite good for white, I believe. It might not be, but I think it's okay. Black can probably play this move or something to that effect. Moves like Queen c7 are going to be no good because this is quite handy for white. After Queen d8, then we would maybe have c7, but we'd also have the very strong move the computer's showing. If queen a5, then we just go bishop c3, and then we tell the queen to go away in a hurry. And white is still having this annoying threat for black on b7. So let's just say white is met with queen a5. We go bishop a3, and here, if here, we could almost just about do this. We can't, but we can almost do this, because we can we just play, we can play knight d6, of course. So if that, it's not very good. So let's go back to the drawing board. Here we have the knight b4 move for black, and here Pragg goes back to knight d2. So do we have normality? Does black now play knight d3? Check, thinking, oh, check, never miss a check. It might be mate. Often said out loud in chess tournaments or in whatever social events. Never miss a check, it might be mate. So here we go. We'll flip the board because it is nice to set from black's point of view, primarily. g6, just cool and comfortable, and bishop e2. Not here, this move here. Why not? Real quick, why not? Why is this a very big blunder? Because of the obvious move. Already nice to see. Not knight c2 check, but knight d3 checkmate. So that's quite nice, isn't it? So white has to be careful, black has to be careful. Bishop e2 and bishop g7. Very sensible, very logical, very good. Castles and castles. a3, and we're not going to go into d3. We just play knight a6. These moves were really, really impressive because they just came through really, really quick. Knight d7, I thought that was the next move. And knight b5 and knight e5. We're not swapping off the black squared bishop, so knight e5. Black would probably be quite happy if white just plays bishop e5 here. Wouldn't be a very good move, I think. f4. So this looks like it's actually quite weak. Although we can just have a big swap off on e5, can't we? So rook a e1. We have got bishop d7. So white is developed and black is developed. They're behaving themselves. They have good trainers. They get taught by an Visyanthan also how to, and the importance of development. You must develop. If you do not develop, you won't have such a good game as if you do develop. So knight c3 is just a little bit of time. It's just the start, middle, and end. Start, middle, and end. And if the Grandmasters or the Super Grandmasters or the former world champions can't change that wee principle, then I don't suggest we try either. So here we got knight g4. And this looks like white's in big trouble here all of a sudden. But white just thinks a little bit further and plays bishop d3. So that now if knight e3, all of a sudden we've got a knight maybe that's, I mean, I probably would maybe take that idea. I might try that idea. Because I can always play f4 in support of and that sort of thing. I might actually be quite tempted to take that e-pawn. Anyway, rook a e8, e4. Now he makes a move that even I would play, f4. Look at this nice square on e3. This looks really good for black. It probably is. So here comes e5, the bust, and knight e5. So here we've got black as a pawn up in this blitz game. Knight e4 and bishop f5, knight e2, knight d2. So I need to get my square. I'm teaching the juniors how this looks like we're just about going to lose a piece, or we can take 2 pieces for the queen by bishop d3 and bishop e2, but obviously black didn't do that, went queen f6, and so this looks quite good for black. So here comes your move here. What would you play here now for white? You're pawn down, so what would you play here? I believe it's at this juncture. Is here Grandmaster, Super Grandmaster as far as I'm concerned. Grandmaster plays b4. Well done if you saw this move, and white's looking to infiltrate on the b file with their queen, maybe even their rook. I don't know what he was thinking, but all squares are sort of covered for reasonable protection of for all squares are covered. Sorry, all squares are covered for reasonable protection of white. There's no problems with checks because the knight takes queens and everything like that. So that's what I'm trying to say. So here he just plays h4, and here he takes and plays queen b3 as promised, and he wants to just infiltrate on f7, and he's got this wee little posse for the knight on g5 with the pawn support on h4. So h6 stops just what I just said. So here comes queen b7, and now black sort of shuffled around a wee bit, went rook f7, and so here we've got queen a7. Can black just play knight d5? There's a wee little, because we're attacking the queen, eh? And if the queen checks here, then we just go rook back, and then it's all good, isn't it? No, it's not, because if now black plays knight takes pawn, then good on you if you can see it. Not here, but that's no good, because then white loses their pawn back to just king up to g7. Okay, so if this move, king up to g7 is all right, and here black's queen, white is attacking. White is attacked with their queen on a7 at the moment, and this knight can merely move back if there's any thoughts of checking, mating the king. Knight e7 will look after most of those sorts of things as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, that's just a wee little thing. So what would actually happen is after queen a7, knight d5, I'll just show you again, is queen a8 check, picks up the knight on d5. So it's not queen b8 check, it's queen a8 check. So we'll go further. King g7. So white has just got their pawn back. So queen b8. And these two are rivals, from what I can tell, these two young grandmasters. Queen c3. Yes, I think white can probably think black will go on a holiday with this queen march. Queen d8, and we have queen c4, queen d6, and queen d5. Remember, this is a 3-minute and 2-second increments, as far as I believe. I don't think it's 5 minutes. So here we've got just the queen exchange, knights off. Now, it looks, white has got this outside pass pawn, but it looks like this is petering off to a draw. But who knows? These two are playing each other, so it doesn't finish here. A lot of players would actually finish here, especially if white offers black a draw. They would probably, especially that's him, would probably snap it up. I would. So here we have rook e5, and now not rook f5 here, because that wouldn't be very good for black. It would just double their pawns up, and as previously mentioned, then we'd have sort of 3 pawn islands for black and 2 for white, and white's pawn is the outer perimeter of passed pawns in this case. So rook d7, rook e4, very sensible moves. a5, presenting themselves as Nimzowitsch states it. a6, rook d1, of course. So here king f2 is not checkmate after is not after rook f1 check. But anyway, what did white play? Was it king h2 or was it king f2? I think it was f2, yeah. So this threatens if rook f1, then we threaten this for white, and we're just threatening rook e3 and then king f1 if we get those sorts of moves in. So behind the pawn, of course, for the rook, regardless whether you're the defender or the attacker, whether it's your pawn, you get behind it in rook and pawn in games and even knights, and also you get behind it if you're defending it, hopefully. So here's g3, just nibbling away at this pawn fray that's established this knight on e3. So rook a2 check, knight c2, and I think black got in a wee bit of bother here, but can I talk? No. So king d1, f g3, rook e2, and so if knight here, then we just have a simple loss for black after rook a2, knight b4. We got a simple loss for black. Was it not that simple? Yes, we have got a simple loss because I thought for some reason that knight can get back, but it can't. So that's just a simple loss for black. So here we have it. The g2 move came about. So what did Grandmaster Pragg do now? He just put this knight on c2, and these moves were played very, very quickly. Black has to be very careful here of that a pawn, so they took it. Rook g2. Now it's getting quite difficult. Rook here, knight d2, king f5. It's very hard to follow these moves on the internet because I'm just looking on my wee cell phone here. It's hooked up to my phone. It's connected up to my TV, to my computer. But anyway, that's my cell phone, and I just see these videos on the internet, on YouTube, and so I'll then put them on here because they're really, really good. So King A, Rook A4 check. Sorry, I just lost the plot, like usual, and Rook F4. So Black's only hope really is this pawn now. Else we're probably going to lose for Black. So I'll play these moves sort of quickly. So this looks like the beginning of the end, but White has to be very careful to not swap off rooks, and Black wants to swap off rooks in that case, so that's very logical. And so White has to try to win this position through natural means, but it's not that great. So King goes to F file here, not to the H file, because if it goes to the H file here or here, if it goes here, then it's just pretty good, really. And if it goes here, it's still good too. So the King goes to F7. So it wants to stay sort of central from what I can tell from their play. Now the Rook hides away from knight checks. It doesn't want to get in the way of that. That's what I'll be doing. Rook H6. And as soon as this rook moves up to E2, you can threaten checkmate again, because I mean he didn't, because you can actually move king here, but I don't know. I think it's just going to repeat. So he moves here. I thought it was at that point. Now king D6 happens, with the obvious intent of rook B8 check, and no good is rook E4 or rook here D2 check. There's no stalemate after knight takes rook. So king E8, knight C5, and there was something happened with the clocks that I think someone was bashing the clock. I'm not sure, but I can be prone to that too. Rook B4. So we're looking at where the squares are. Looks like Black's just come right up again. So they can actually change places. The position of the king can come over here where the rook is. So maybe that makes a difference, I'm not sure. King E6 and rook E2. So it looks like we've gone right round the block and back again. And that's the end of the game. I wasn't going to show you that finale. So here, knight D6. Whether it actually can threaten anything or not, but yeah, that's the end of the game. as he plays rook c5, and that's the finale. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that, even though I keep bungling the ball about who's white and who's black and everything like that, and what moves threatening who and blah blah blah.